The diner was the sort of place that smelled perpetually of bacon grease and burnt coffee. Its walls, cluttered with faded photos of old fire trucks and framed newspaper articles, bore witness to countless conversations about rescues, recoveries, and everything in between. On this particular Tuesday morning, the booths were filled with first responders. Firefighters still in suit-streaked gear sat shoulder to shoulder with paramedics, the radios occasionally crackling to life. Police officers nursed steaming mugs, their faces marked by the exhaustion of overnight patrols. But before we proceed further, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. It was a scene of routine chaos, the kind that played out daily in small diners across the country. The doors swung open with a creak, and in walked a man who didn't seem like he belonged, not because he was unwelcome, but because he looked like he had wandered off the cover of a tech magazine. It was Elon Musk, unmistakably himself, with his slightly disheveled hair, a half-smile that carried equal parts mischief and thoughtfulness, and a look in his eye as if he'd just solved a problem no one knew existed. The chatter in the diner quieted but didn't stop entirely. One or two people exchanged glances, as if to confirm that this wasn't some sleep-deprived hallucination. Musk stood in the doorway for a beat too long, scanning the room as though he were an alien trying to decode Earth's social customs. Then, without ceremony, he made his way to the counter, plopping down on one of the red vinyl stools. The waitress, a no-nonsense woman with a name tag that read Dolores, handed him a menu without even looking up. "Coffee?" "Sure," Musk replied, then paused as if considering the metaphysical implications of coffee. "Black. Like the fuel that's being phased out by EVs." Dolores didn't miss a beat. "Sugar?" "No, but thanks for asking." "Sweetness is overrated." As she poured the coffee, Musk's eyes darted around the diner, taking in the scene. You could almost see the wheels turning in his head, calculating the likelihood that this moment would inspire some next-level innovation. A firefighter at the corner booth gave him a curt nod. Musk returned it with an awkward finger gun gesture, immediately realizing it might have been a mistake. Then something unusual happened. Musk stood up, his coffee untouched, and addressed the room. He cleared his throat, the sound cutting through the clatter of cutlery. Conversations tapered off as all eyes turned to him. The first responders seemed equal parts curious and wary, unsure if he was about to announce free Teslas or unveil a new rocket engine. "I just want to say," Musk began, "thank you for what you do. I mean, truly. You're the real-life superheroes." The sentiment was genuine, even if his delivery was a bit stilted. A few heads nodded, but the room didn't erupt into applause. Musk seemed unfazed. Instead, he did something nobody saw coming. He pulled out his phone and started tapping furiously, his thumbs moving with the kind of speed that suggested he was either writing code or ordering breakfast from another dimension. Moments later, he looked up. "What's the bill?" Dolores blinked. "You mean your coffee? $2. No, Musk said, waving his hand. "The bill? Everyone's how much?" Dolores hesitated, then scribbled something on her notepad and handed it to him. Musk glanced at it and nodded. He tapped his phone a few more times, then turned the screen toward her. It was a payment confirmation. "It's covered," he said, loud enough for the room to hear. "Order whatever you want. On me." For a moment, the diner was silent. Then someone muttered, "Is he serious?" Dolores shrugged, then went back to pouring coffee, as if billionaires picked up tabs in her diner all the time. What followed was an explosion of conversations and laughter. A firefighter shouted for another stack of pancakes. A paramedic ordered pie, 2 slices, just because she could. Even the grumpiest cop in the corner cracked a smile. Musk, meanwhile, returned to his stool, sipping his now lukewarm coffee with the air of someone who had just ticked off another item on his cosmic to-do list. But he wasn't done yet. After finishing his coffee, Musk stood up again, this time clutching a napkin in his hand. He unfolded it with the kind of care usually reserved for blueprints or secret government documents. On the napkin was a sketch, a very good one, mind you, of a strange, futuristic-looking vehicle. It resembled a cross between an ambulance, a tank, and something you'd see in a sci-fi movie. He held it up for everyone to see. "Okay," he began, his tone shifting into what could only be described as a TD talk voice. "I've been thinking. Emergency vehicles haven't changed much in decades. What if we could create something that's faster, safer, and more efficient?" He launched into an impromptu pitch, explaining how his sketch represented a next-generation emergency vehicle. It would be electric, of course, with solar panels on the roof and advanced AI to optimize routes. It would be bulletproof, because why not, and equipped with onboard medical tech that sounded like it belonged in a hospital rather than a vehicle. He talked about reducing response times and how the vehicle could be modular, transforming from an ambulance to a fire engine with the swap of a few parts. Most of the first responders listened with polite interest, though a few exchanged skeptical glances. One firefighter whispered to another, "Sounds great, but who's going to fix it when it breaks down?" Musk seemed to sense the doubt and doubled down. "I'm serious," he said. "This could be a game changer. Imagine a world where—" He caught himself grinning sheepishly. Okay, maybe not the whole world, but you get the idea. By the time he finished, the room had warmed to him, though it was clear most people thought he was just spitballing. Still, the concept was intriguing enough that a couple of off-duty paramedics started debating the practicality of solar-powered emergency vehicles. Musk, apparently satisfied, sat back down and ordered a plate of waffles. As he ate, a few people approached him, shaking his hand or snapping a quick selfie. Musk obliged, though he seemed more interested in eavesdropping on conversations about his napkin sketch. At one point, a firefighter joked that Musk should invent a machine that could predict when the coffee pot would run dry. Musk laughed, an actual hearty laugh, and said, "Noted." When his plate was empty, Musk stood up, leaving a generous tip under his coffee mug. He grabbed the napkin with his sketch, gave it one last look, and stuffed it into his pocket. As he walked toward the door, he turned back to the room and said, "Seriously, thank you. And remember, waffles are the fuel of innovation." With that, he was gone, leaving the diner abuzz with conversation. The first responders didn't know what to make of the encounter. Some thought it was a publicity stunt. Others saw it as a rare moment of genuine appreciation. But as they returned to their conversations, one thing was clear. Elon Musk had left his mark, not just on the bill, but on the room's collective imagination. Outside, the sound of a Tesla pulling away was barely audible over the chatter inside. And though the moment was fleeting, it was the kind of story that would be told for years, growing slightly more embellished with each retelling. Some would say Musk designed a prototype for the diner on the spot. Others would claim he left behind a cryptic message written in syrup. But for those who were there, the truth was enough. Elon Musk walked into a diner full of first responders, picked up the tab, and left them wondering what might be possible. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We thrive on your feedback, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, keep discovering and stay tuned.